Quick update for anybody that uses Control Freaks. They just launched their new Destiny 2 Ghost thumbsticks. You guys check them out. Link in the description. Use promo code ChaosXSilencer and get yourself a discount. Tweet at me if you do so I can reply to you guys. It is not uncommon for developers to try and experiment with new things in their game franchises, but some of these experiments, they don't work out. In fact, some of these experiments are so bad that they end up killing the entire franchise. What's up, guys? Jimmy here. Welcome to Chaos Top 10s, and today we are going to be counting down the picks for the top 10 games that actually ruined their respective franchises. Before we get into it, we are running a $200 Amazon gift card giveaway the entire month. All you have to do to enter is like this video, be subscribed, turn on your notifications, and leave a comment why you want to win it with your Twitter handle attached. I will announce the winner at the end of the month on Twitter. Good luck on the giveaway. It runs all month long. And now let's get into some games that weren't just bad, but they actually killed the entire franchise. Kicking off the list at number 10 is SOCOM 4, U.S. Navy SEALs. And I know I've said a few times that games with a serious title like Army or History Channel usually always end up being terrible. But there's one series that definitely defied that stereotype, and it was SOCOM. The SOCOM series was pretty awesome, a tactical third-person shooter series with an emphasis on realism and playing smarter rather than harder. However, in April of 2011, SOCOM 4 was released for the PS3, and it just felt outdated out the gate and boring compared to the other games in the series and the other games out at the time. SOCOM 4 wasn't well received, and it had its servers shut down just 3 short years later, making it impossible to play now. The shutdown of the SOCOM servers in 2014 really seemed like the developers accepting defeat, as we haven't gotten any new games since 2011. It's unlikely that we'll be getting one anytime soon, given the fact that the modern shooter market is absolutely dominated already. It would be extremely hard for SOCOM to get its foot back in the door. At number 9, we have Medal of Honor Warfighter. Before Call of Duty, there was Medal of Honor, a World War II themed FPS series. Also, a little fun fact for you guys, the first Call of Duty game was developed largely by ex-Medal of Honor developers. However, as time went on, games like COD and Battlefield started to take over the FPS market, leaving Medal of Honor behind. EA knew they had to give the series a makeover if they wanted to stay relevant in the industry with it, so in 2010 there was a reboot simply titled Medal of Honor, featuring a modern setting and more realistic and gritty combat. The reboot was not well received, but EA decided to keep trying, so they developed a sequel called Medal of Honor Warfighter, released just 2 short years later, and only with a little over a year and a half of development. The rushed development definitely showed, as Warfighter was critically panned for its horrible AI, countless bugs, and glitches, even after a series of patches, and it functioned as a crappier version of the modern military FPS that you had already played 100 times over. The Medal of Honor series is dead, and honestly, it should probably stay that way. EA should just stick to Battlefield and Battlefront as their main shooter franchise, and if they want another one, they should start an entirely new series. At number 8, we have Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Now, the first Ultimate Alliance game was awesome. It's perhaps the best Marvel action RPG ever. Developed by Raven Software and released in 2006, Ultimate Alliance was a huge hit and is considered by many to be one of the best superhero games ever. The sequel, though, not so much. Development was transferred to Vicarious Visions and InSpace, and that's where things went bad. The gameplay is the same but less technical, leading to Ultimate Alliance 2 becoming just a button masher rather than an action RPG, and the game is overall disappointing. It's not a bad game, but it's not a good game either. What's stopping you from playing the first one? Nothing. The first one is so much better, leading to the sequel underperforming and the series dying out after only the second game. Coming in at number 7, we have Call of Juarez: The Cartel. We've mentioned this game a few times on previous lists, and Call of Juarez was like a Call of Duty game in the Wild West with fast-paced shooting in a Western setting, complete with dual-wielding 6 shooters, blowing people away with rifles, and running through farms and Wild West towns. However, Call of Juarez: The Cartel decided to ditch its original premise and go into the modern day, making it feel a cheap ripoff of Modern Warfare or Battlefield. The graphics were bad, the gunplay was lame, the story was dumb, and writing was incredibly tasteless and actually racist, and the developers had to apologize for it. When's the last time you saw a developer apologize for releasing a game? A few years after The Cartel, we got Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which was an awesome return to the Wild West, but the game unfortunately flew under the radar thanks to the reputation left by The Cartel, leading the series to die out. At number 6, we have Army of Two Devil's Cartel. What is it with the word cartel? Speaking of terrible games with cartel in them, Army of Two. The series is awesome. It's the quintessential bromance game as you and your buddy team up on a co-op as you complete objectives and completely blow away your enemies together, basically for a more realistic version of Gears of War. However, the third game, Cartel, Devil's Cartel, completely destroyed the series. The interesting characters were ditched for two generic dudes simply named Alpha and Bravo. Yeah, super original names there, guys. Many of the co-op features that made the earlier games great were removed. The competitive multiplayer, a main draw, once again, of the earlier games was removed, and absolutely horrible AI for both the enemies and your partner. The developers responded to negative criticism by saying the team suffered from low morale, and it definitely showed, but it's not an excuse for removing the things people like. The first Army of Two game was awesome, so go play them with your buddies if you haven't already. Cracking into the top 5 today, we have Dead Space 3. One of the most legendary modern horror franchises of all time, definitely didn't go out without a bang. Dead Space redefined the survival horror genre for the 7th gen of consoles, and Dead Space 2 polished every aspect of the first game and added tons more content, weapons, monsters, everything. Dead Space 3, however, decided to ditch a lot of what made the series great. What is the deal with ditching what made the series great? Innovation, I guess. The game doesn't take place in space, it isn't scary, and it was riddled with microtransactions. In fact, Dead Space 3 was actually boring. That word should never define a Dead Space game. It is a shame to see that Dead Space was just another horror series that tried to turn itself into an action game. I don't understand it. Why do horror franchises try to keep turning themselves into action franchises like Resident Evil? It never goes well. At number 4, we have the Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 game. The first Force Unleashed game was pretty cool, telling the story of Vader's secret apprentice in between episodes 3 and 4 during the Purge of the Jedi. You travel the galaxy and hunt down the remaining Jedi while making friends, learning the ways of the Force, and trying to decide if you want to follow the dark or the light path. Naturally, after the massive success of the first game, a second was rushed through development and the third was planned to make it a trilogy. However, the reason we never got that third game was because the second one sucked. It ditched the deeper gameplay of the first game for a linear hack and slash that just turns into a button masher once you figure out how to play. There's some cool force powers, but they quickly grow stale as you just don't feel like you're contributing anything to the story like you did in the first one. Force Unleashed 2 performed so poorly that the third game was canceled, and I don't even think these games are canon anymore in the Star Wars universe. Why, oh why? Number 3, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. While Tony Hawk Rider Shred was an absolute disaster that many point to and talk about the fall of the franchise, you have to keep in mind that the series chugged on after those two. Enter Pro Skater 5, an utter bastardization of one of the best sports franchises of all time. If you've never played any of the first 4 Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, go do it right now. You'll love it. Whatever you do, stay far away from Pro Skater 5. The game was released more than 10 years after Pro Skater 4. Wonder why, brand recognition, and it completely sucked all the fun out of it. The physics were awful, the gameplay was boring and unfun, the graphics were outdated, and it's one of the buggiest games to be released in the last 10 years. I mean, it was bad. It's sad too. Just let it die. RIP. At number 2, we have Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. You're probably expecting to see Sonic 06 on this list, but we decided to give it a break since we bash it a lot and are always given the fact that it didn't kill the series, given the fact that it continued on after its release. But Rise of Lyric? Yeah, that's a different story. Released in 2014 for the Wii U, this game featured the now infamously terribly bad character redesigns and some of the buggiest gameplay on the console. The script was awful, the story was dumb, the gameplay was boring, and there were tons of bugs and glitches thanks to a rushed and troubled development cycle, and it's going to be on the worst selling game in the entire Sonic franchise list as well. Ever wonder why I haven't gotten a main installment to the Sonic series in a while? Well, you could probably thank Sonic Boom for that. Nice job, Sonic Boom. I swear this game garners the most #1 spots on negative lists we do. And number 1, you guessed it, Duke Nukem Forever. This game's been all over the place on Chaos Top 10s. Well, it's because it was bad. The reason's simple. The game freaking sucks and it deserves all the criticism that I can throw out at it. Famously in development for over 15 years, the game single-handedly put the nail in the coffin of Duke Nukem, one of the gaming's most legendary freaking characters. Sure, the franchise was somewhat struggling thanks to the lackluster handheld games released before or during Forever's development, but man, when Forever was released, it made us all forget about the awesome games in Duke's lifespan like Duke 3D, Duke 2, Duke Manhattan Project, Duke Time to Kill. There are plenty of good Duke games, but why doesn't anyone talk about them anymore? Well, you can thank Duke Nukem Forever. Rest in peace, Duke. You are a magnificent bastard. And there you have it, my friends. Those are 10 individual video games that actually ruined their franchise. Let us know where we got it right and wrong. There is a playlist below if you guys want to check out all the other top 10s. A brand new one goes up every night. Turn on your notifications and you'll never miss an upload. Thank you for all the support on this series, guys. I hope you have a fantastic night, and I'll see you tomorrow.